So, did you see some gameplay impressions of Dark Souls 3 or read about them?
I have. It makes me... Because here's the thing. I want to preface by saying this. Bloodborne was like my first foray into the Souls formula world where it's like all these hard-ass games.
The From Software series.
I played From Software games before because I have a Ninja Blade.
Oh, do they do that?
Uh-huh. Okay. That's a hard-ass game, too.
Yeah.
But Bloodborne was my first delve into, like, the Souls world. Mm. And, like, the reason why is, like, I plan on making a whole video explaining why I love Bloodborne, so look forward to that. I'm going to make a plug for it. But just brief synopsis is, like, because everything about the world just, like, entices me. Like, the way it looks, like, the gothic architecture and stuff like that. Like, the draped clothing, it's not this heavy armor that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm not a big fan of the fantasy setting, like the typical like knights in shining armor shit.
Right.
I'm more of a fan of like the like they're pretty much like wearing dress clothes, but they have like and they have these cool weapons and the music and bless you, and like just the monsters, like how they're all based off like these grotesque beasts, and you also fight like these aliens. Like everything about Bloodborne, like
there are aliens in it.
Yes, like these cosmic beings. Everything about Bloodborne appeals to my personal taste, and Dark Souls never really did.
Is it the aesthetic? Because from what I hear, a lot of people is Bloodborne is a lot faster paced than Souls games.
That's another thing I'm getting to. It's also like the gameplay. Like Bloodborne is very fast paced, it's very aggressive, and that's more my play style. Dark Souls is very like you have to wait around. You have your shield. You have to make sure you block the attacker. You have to like roll at the right minute to make an opening for yourself with the boss or something like that. And it's like that's not really my playstyle, and what I did was I played Bloodborne and I beat it, and I was like, all right, let me try the Dark Souls games. So I borrowed Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin, and I beat the first boss. Like I got like into it, and I was like, I can't. This isn't like my type of game. So then I stopped playing it. But the reason why I bring that up is because Dark Souls 3, I keep hearing, is like as fast as Bloodborne, while still maintaining the mechanics of Dark Souls 3, where it's like you can be really aggressive and you move a lot faster. Like the weapon swinging, it feels like Bloodborne and everything like that. But if you're getting too aggressive, if you're not using your shield or doing the old Dark Souls formula of like tuck and weave, like dip, dive, dodge, duck, like, then you'll get fucked.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to bring up. I heard that Dark Souls 3 is a good combination of it. Like,
so that's why I'm looking forward to it.
From what I heard, I think it was an IGN impression of it. From what I read, it was like the gameplay is faster paced and everything feels lighter as opposed to Dark Souls, which is like heavy. Yeah. Like you feel heavy, but you're still going to get fucked up if you try being really aggressive. Like you can't be as aggressive as you are in Bloodborne. You still have to take that like tactical approach that Dark Souls has, but everything feels like more like Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Like. So that excites me because I could go either way. Like I think, since I have not a lot of time in my hands, I'd rather play a faster paced game. But it's just a different play style. I'm sure it takes the same amount of time to beat them. Really.
Yeah. So yeah, I read that. Was the title of the article like Dark Souls 3 from a Bloodborne player or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
I think I read the same one, and it made me kind of relieved in a way because I kept hearing that because I've watched videos. Like when I was shown at E3 and these Souls experts like Vati Vidya and all them, like they play it and then they give their impressions on it, and they were saying that like it's Dark Souls, but it's also very much like Bloodborne, and that always made me really excited because like I said, Bloodborne is like my type of game, and Dark Souls is not really my type of game, no matter how much I wanted it to be. But I feel like the combination of the two will make me really enjoy Dark Souls 3 because I've always wanted to enjoy Dark Souls. I've always wanted to get into it because I know these games are like amazing, but I just couldn't do it. But I hope Dark Souls 3 is like it's like the nudge that I need. Like it's the nice combination.
It's really funny. Before Bloodborne came out, would you have described your type of game as what Bloodborne was?
Not until I saw Bloodborne, and I was like, there's something about this game. Like I would watch the trailers, I'd watch like the people playing the alpha of it, and I'm like, there's something about this game looks so fucking cool.
It clicked, right?
Yeah, and then I played it, and I was like, this game.
I don't know if I've ever had that. There are games that I love, and there are games that I love to play, but I don't know if I've ever had a game that I just sat down and it just clicked. Like, this is the game for me.
Yeah, it's like that's why. Everybody, all my friends know. I'm like, yeah, I love Bloodborne. And all my friends tease me, and I'm like, yeah, Steve loves Bloodborne. We all fucking know because I always talk about it. It's like, there's just something about this game that it's just like I love it so much. It's like
I know what you mean. I'm hoping No Man's Sky is going to be that for me because it feels like that's going to be like there are things that I like in games and things that make me like a game, but I've never sat down and like this is my favorite game of all time.
Like that's how Bloodborne is. Like immediately. It's just the question you just asked where it's like I didn't know this is what I looked for in a game until I played Bloodborne. And I was like, this game. Yeah. There's something special about this game that it's just like it's hitting all the right notes for me. Like everything about it, literally every aspect of it, it's just like it's like my game. I fucking love it. Maybe that's
my issue with maybe that's gonna be my issue with No Man's Sky because it feels like a game that I would describe as something that would be perfect for me. But I'm not going to get that like instant realization. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll sit down with it and I'll be like, okay, this is literally exacally what I've ever wanted from a video game and play it forever. Yeah. I'm hoping that. And
you never know. Like I didn't know what was going to happen with Bloodborne. I played it. And
what made you pick it up? You just thought it looked interesting?
I've always wanted to get into a Souls game. Everyone was saying how this game's like so fast and aggressive. Like I was watching the alpha gameplay. That's what got me sucked in. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like my friends telling me about it. It wasn't like all the E3 press. It was watching the alpha gameplay. I was like, this game looks cool. I want to get into this game.
Bloodborne came out of nowhere for me.
It did.
I mean, I've the last couple of years I've kind of dropped off the face of gaming because just time.
Yeah, and like being busy.
Like and the fact that I couldn't really afford any of the new consoles. Yeah. This year I did get a lot of the games, but I haven't played a lot. But I've been following the news a lot more lately. But Bloodborne, it was like before I'd started getting into it, news, back into the news, and it was out of nowhere.
Yeah, and like getting all this praise and like
I don't even remember hearing about it.
Like, well, because it was a secret project called Project Beast, and then at the 1E3 they showed a CGI trailer for it. And they showed a little bit of gameplay, and then they released the alpha.
What was the gameplay trailer that they showed? Was it like?
It wasn't a gameplay trailer in a sense of like a cinematic.
It was a CG trailer.
It was a CG trailer of like the guy, and he was walking around, and he has like that saw cleaver, and he like. It starts off with him like cutting up like a dog or whatever, and then you see like the villagers walking around like the pitchforks, and then you see like another scene of him like pointing the gun towards the guy's head and his eyes like rolling around.
I remember.
It's like this crazy shit, and you're like, and at the end of it, you see the cleric beast behind him, and you're like, what the fuck's going on?
I remember.
And then they show gameplay.
I remember hearing about Project Beast, but I don't remember really the specifics about that. There have been a few games like that, like Bloodborne. Obviously, was probably high profile, and everyone knew about it. But it's interesting.
Especially in the Souls community.
Yeah, it's interesting to see like games that no one has ever heard of. Like it's just so underground and so indie that no one's ever heard of it. Just coming out and like exploding, like Undertale, like exploded. It was
Undertale
like
was nominated for like Game of the Year awards
multiple times.
This game was made by one guy.
One guy,
incredible,
who used to be he's a Homestuck music composer. Do you know that?
Yeah,
he's the main music guy on Homestuck. He made the game literally in Andrew Husse's basement. The creator of Homestuck, he made it in his basement. And I remember Homestuck is a really cool webcomic that you should check out. But I remember like I followed him on Twitter because of Homestuck, and he always linked to it. And it was a Kickstarter. I went to the Kickstarter. I'm like, this looks really neat, but the aesthetic's not really for me. And I just clicked out of it, and then all of a sudden it just exploded, and I'm like, I know exactly what that is. I didn't back it because I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And like that's incredible. And then like this week, Stardew Valley.
Yeah, let's get a bunch of praise too.
I just people just like, have you heard about Stardew Valley? I'm like, no. It's like the internet. I'm responding to my inanimate computer in this case. But like it's been all over Kotaku and IGN and stuff, and people are praising it because also maybe one guy. I feel like these one team games are coming out. Like even smaller things like No Man's Sky. It's obviously very high profile, but it's made by like 6-7 people.
Yeah,
like it's a very small developer, and it's really
crazy,
cool.
Dude. How like these. Well, like you said, Bloodborne's not really underground because it's made by From Software, but it did kind of come out of nowhere in the sense of. It was just like, what's this new From Software game? Is it like a Souls? And then people started like seeing all these like screenshots of this like dark, dreary, like gothic world, and everyone's like, what the hell is this? And then it came out, and we're all just like, what?
It's really weird.
It's so good
because it's not a Souls game.
It just has like the Souls formula.
Yeah, it's not a Souls game because it doesn't take place in the same world, which I think all the other ones do.
They do.
It doesn't have
not
the
Demon
same...
Souls. Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 take place in the same world.
But like, see, that's even weird because you have like 3 franchises there, and it's an exclusive. Like it's console exclusive, which I think Demon Souls was, and then they
PS3 only.
They moved to Xbox for the other ones, and then didn't they do Demon Souls 2? I think they did Demon Souls 2.
No,
they didn't.
They didn't.
You sure?
Everybody thought Project Beast was Demon Souls 2.
Oh, okay.
But it turned out to be Bloodborne.
Okay, but I mean, it's essentially Demon Souls 2.
Not really. Demon Souls is a lot like Dark Souls. It's like slow paced. It's like
it's a weird franchise, the Souls franchise.
It is very.
Especially it's
very
good though. It's
very
young. Like when did Demon Souls come out?
Like 2009, I think.
Is that old?
I think Dark Souls. But I mean, like came out in like 2010 or 11, and then Dark Souls 2 came out in like 2000.
They've done like
13.
They've done like one every year or 2 years.
I think Dark Souls 2 came out in 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
It's very strange, that franchise. It, like, came out of nowhere. It took everyone by... Demon Souls was like an underground hit, and then Dark Souls was like a huge hit, and Dark Souls 2 was an even bigger hit, and Bloodborne was an even bigger hit, and I think Dark Souls 3 will be a bigger hit. It's become like one of the franchises to beat, I feel like.
Yeah.
So...
Because... And a lot of people are trying to copy the formula. Like, there's a bunch of games that are like trying to do that. Like, there was that one game... fuck, I forget what it was called. It was a game on PS4. Fuck...
With the Order?
No, it's like...
They're the same aesthetic, kind of.
No, there's this one game that it was pretty much a Dark Souls game where it was like the same, like, you know, like dodge and attack and you die really quick.
Yeah.
It's totally... Fuck it, I don't even care anymore. It wasn't that good. In fact, my one friend got it, and then the first day of the game, there wasn't any sound. You had to download a patch that added the sound to it.
I feel like I did hear about this, but I don't know the name of it either. We'll fix it in post. You'll just impose. Yeah. You'll just edit the thing. I
would just do a really bad thing where my voice just cuts in and it's like Lords of the Fallen, and then I put it up on the screen.
Yeah,
we'll just do that.
But yeah, it's clone. Like, did you hear about the this isn't a clone. This is like a weird spinoff. Did you hear about the GameStop exclusive mobile game that they had? Like it was like. Flappy Souls or something like that.
No,
you didn't hear about that.
No,
it was like a Dark Souls 3 Infinite Runner Flappy Bird clone almost. It's official, but it's like a huge ad for GameStop in Dark Souls 3. It's just like it's a mobile game that just literally everywhere it says GameStop. Pre-order Dark Souls at GameStop. Pre-order Dark Souls at GameStop, and it's like a weird Infinite Runner that's like official. It's really strange.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's very strange. I think it's called Flappy Souls. That's what it's called. It's something like that. Maybe not so blatantly.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3. I'm excited for it.